All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown day, I think 101. I'm not good at counting days. So what happened over the weekend here? The Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone continues its ascent, descent. It continues, I guess. There's videos now of there's been a little bit of violence, a little scuffle here and there. What is the guy's name? Simone? What's his name? Is it Raz? I should remember his name. He's now the warlord of the CHAZ. That's the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. You and me. There's video of him last night, like, distributing rifles to people, like AR15s. All right. You're allowed to open carry in Seattle. That's a thing. So it's fine, I guess. There is a law that is not enforced in Washington by basically any law enforcement agency that I'm aware of that requires you to be an FFL, that's a federal firearms licensee, in order to transfer a weapon to someone. And that would mean giving somebody a weapon in order to go stand a guard post. Like, they're not, I don't know exactly, because again, they don't enforce this because it's unenforceable for the most part. Like, if I give you a gun to go shoot because you want to try it out, we have to legally transfer it to you under your ownership, and you have to pay a fee and all this stuff. Again, it's like unworkable, and they passed the law, and it's dumb. But there you go. There's possibly a federal. I don't know. Is it a state violation? I don't know. Maybe. One of many crimes going on inside the zone, of which the residents, the new citizens of the new country, are to enforce their own laws on themselves, I suppose. The new way, whatever it is that they're doing, whatever their values are, if they have values, they will enforce it on themselves. Now, here's the thing. I believe on the one hand, the mayor and other city officials are going to downplay the public health and safety and, the risks involved and any crimes that are happening, because they don't want it to look like they're just allowing complete bedlam to go on in this unoccupied, quote unquote, like unpoliced zone, right? Because they have an obligation to enforce the law to keep taxpayers safe, because that's why they pay the taxes, and there are people who live there, etc., etc. Now, on the other hand, I bet if there is an issue of safety and public health inside the zone, then at some point law enforcement and others will want to exaggerate the amount of danger, the threat level of the CHAZ, right? So that they can then argue for reasserting, I guess, police control, right? Now, this is the thing, again, about the CHAZ, is, yes, it is technically, it's not really being policed right at the moment. At least not in the same way that it was before all of this stuff started. But it is not really that autonomous. The autonomous zone is not really that autonomous. They're calling for fire, engines. They're calling for ambulances and stuff. They bring in outside food and resources. Like, it's being funded by people who want to, I don't know, who believe in the cause, people who just want to watch the world burn. Like, I assume there are people giving stuff just to make this thing go on longer because it's absurd. And by the way, if you wanted to intervene in our culture and society, and you were another country, wouldn't you somehow make donations to a group like this? Like, here's a bunch of money. I'm not saying George Soros. I don't really traffic in Soros conspiracies. But if you wanted to meddle in our culture, this is one way to do it. Spark caused this to happen more in other places, and it already kind of has been happening in other places. They tried to do it in Portland. They tried to do it in, like, I think Asheville, North Carolina? That's apparently like the Seattle of North Carolina, or the the Austin. Isn't Austin a hippieville? Isn't that right? Anyways, yeah, they're not that autonomous, but it's difficult to really get a good assessment of what's going on in there because there are people making a very big deal about it, like, you know, we need law and order and such, and, you know, Trump keeps tweeting out just law and order, and it's like peanut butter and jelly. That's the issue. Is it okay? I don't know. The okayness of the CHAZ. What does this mean? Are people like there's a street preacher who kind of got his ass kicked a little bit, and one of the things about those guys is those guys are everywhere here. Anytime there's a lot of people in downtown, anytime there's a concert or an event, they're always outside with their come to Jesus now or burn in hell. And I don't know if they're the same like God hates fags kind of people, but I think I've seen signs to that effect. They usually have pretty big signs, and they're not like paper or cardboard signs. They're like, you know, printed, you know, like nylon sheets or whatever. And they're big. Like, they'll be, I don't know, 3-4 feet across with like a crossbar, you know, really big. And they megaphone and they yell about Jesus and all that stuff. So I'm not surprised that one of those guys went to this thing. The issue is in the videos where you see him getting strangled by people, there's like a mob around him, of course. They stole his little speaker system, I guess, and then they were strangling him, which is what people want to do to those guys because they're obnoxious. But you're not allowed to put your hands on people, fellas. You're remember being like in second grade, like don't touch each other, like keep your hands to yourself. Yeah, like that. What are you doing? I mean, if he swung on them first or something, but then it's still just like an angry mob is just sort of beating up a guy, and it's like, it's not great optics, guys. This is exactly the kind of thing people were concerned would happen. Now again, did he do something to provoke the violence? Quite possibly. I don't know. Maybe there's some more video I haven't seen. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. That's how Seattle spent the weekend. Watching the CHAZ try to figure out what it is. I don't know, man. I mean, again, all of this stuff is meant to, like, I'm trying to think about it in terms of like the pragmatism of what it's supposed to achieve. They've definitely made a lot of noise. I mean, it became an international story, right? I mean, everybody's fascinated by it. They either are looking at it as this wonderful moment of empowerment and, you know, the getting rid of the police and all this kind of stuff. Reform, change, revolution, you know, all power to the people, all that. Or it's just a clusterfuck of people walking around with weapons and beat each other up and like trying to grow crops, guys. Okay, look. And here's the thing about the garden that apparently everybody who gardens knows that what they were doing is stupid and not gonna work. And the real issue I have here is, again, it's like a time frame issue. So you go in, you take over everything, and then you sit around and you go, okay, we own this now. Okay. You got to get food from somewhere eventually. So the big idea, the big plan, is to plant like a 20-foot square area, churn the earth up, and plant some carrots so that in like 5 months you have 10 carrots. Like, It's like, guys, like, that's establishing an intent for a time frame. Oh, we're not leaving anytime soon. We're going to be here for a long time, long enough to make a farm. Make a farm produce enough food to, I don't know, like, you're not going to be able to feed everybody with a farm you plant in a baseball field, guys. Like, that's not how, I don't know what the purpose of it is. It's to have everyone cooperate on a project, I guess. Is that the idea? Collective ownership over a thing, and then they all pitch in, and it makes for a community. I don't know, man. I don't know what it's for. And then they issued demands, and I just almost don't believe the list of demands that I saw. It included, again, like, reparations for slavery and all kinds of stuff that, like, the city can't give you. Like, the city can change the police budget around, but they can't give you reparations for slavery, guys. I don't even know. Like, again, I'm not sure if people fully appreciate what is coming. Like, I'm gonna make this prediction here, and it is that, oh, they're gonna defund the police, all right. Very soon enough, they are going to defund the police. They're also gonna defund fire. They're also gonna defund, hospitals. They're gonna defund infrastructure. They're gonna have to. Now, unless, and this is my guess, is the only thing that tells me that's not, maybe won't happen, is that there's gonna be some kind of giant federal bailout for all of these cities. And they will keep their budgets afloat as they were, as they are now, I suppose, with that federal money. But that big federal bailout is going to cause all kinds of other economic chaos, okay? Like hyperinflation, maybe? I don't know. Turn on the money printing machines and stuff you don't just make money and then give it to, like, a city and it bails their budget out and then everything's fine. It's, again, I'm not an economist, but I listen to economists who say that it's not how it works, okay? Now, will the CHAZ be a net, is the CHAZ, again, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it neutral? What does it mean? Like, I think we're finding out day by day what it means, because we're watching people be people. And if this is how people act, then maybe the CHAZ won't last. If the more collective, cooperative, industrious, I guess, people stay on top of it, then keep it under control, I guess, keep it peaceful, then it will at least get a historical footnote. Anyways, yeah, that's, I think, day 101. It's a Monday. That's enough from me for one day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.